Hello and welcome YouTube to the either beloved or disliked Divide at Impera mod for Total War Rome 2. This is going to be my review of this mod. So, first of all, this is the biggest overhaul mod ever created for Rome 2. And yeah, that's going to be a lot of changes to it. So, first of all, I'm going to say that the Divided Impera has many changes, including, they say, one of their biggest aspects, or one big aspect. Look at all those unit skins. That's a big variety of unit skins. Yeah, totally different, big difference. And then they have added a hell ton of new units. Not only making much more beautiful skins for every single faction on the game, from being barbarian tribesmen, Carthaginian soldiers. Those look much more realistic. Look at those Roman legionnaires. Yeah. So the mod's graphics are pretty much kind of like copies from the Rome Total War mods. Europa Barbarorum and Rome Resurrectum 2. The biggest mod giants overhauls of Rome Total War. If you have Rome Total War, take a small check at one of these mods or both, as I have. The unit models will resemble Divided Impera. So, yeah. Divided Impera has many different unit textures, charging up from many other units. Like, I don't think you saw in Rome Total War or Rome 2 the brass and shield pikes. And also no Galatian spear warriors, nor any Seleucid royal spearmen that are not the silver shields. And look at all those names. All those names of the units are in their native faction. Calcaspidais Phalangitai, Hellenikoi, Cataphracto, Hellenes Cataphractoi. And most of the names are actually stolen, not stolen, but taken from the Europa Barbarorum mod, which had those names, and also the textures, of course. So this mod offers a lot of variety. This thing that I'm going to be talking about a lot in this video is the biggest downside of the mod, which is it's so heavy on you. I'm going to talk about it later, but just take a moment and see that these textures are exactly the same as the Europa Barbarorum and Rome Resurrectum mods from Rome 1. They're pretty much the exact same textures, only copied in for Rome 2 purposes. Pretty much. The mod is not like that, but the unit skins are like that. Yeah. That's pretty much what it is. So, and they have even bothered to adding a bunch new other factions, or not new, but you can have like Armenia, which here are named Hayasdan for a native name. You have the Getei, you have, yeah, and you also have the normal factions. So you can have like 50% of the factions of Rome 2 are available. So some more factions have been available, not like the crappy ones, the factions that are not in that are still interesting, like Lusitania have been added. Syracuse was added before the Hannibal the Gates came out, and a lot of other stuff. And the Numidians are also there. So, and the skins are, as I say, very changed. Look at those elephants, by the way. And the one mechanic in the game is what the creators are very keen on, is the thing of making the battle much longer. And look at the interesting system. The units have even like a stamina thingy, so they can know like how much stamina the unit can have, how fast the unit fatigues. And now they're saying actually that they have made a huge difference in the thing that they have made battles just take forever. And I mean just take forever to fight. Now this battle is not being really specifically well played or anything. I think I even forgot to put in the pike formation because I'm a stupid asshole. Or more like I'm stupid. And I'm playing on the Ephesus map, as you can see the Halicarnassus. This has been my testing map right now. So yeah, I by no means played very bad right now, but it's very fun. This mod has a pack of decent battles. The biggest strength of the mod though is the campaign. You can't, like, multiplayer is very rare because although it's a very commonly used mod, I don't think so many people want to go with multiplayer. So yeah, I have no idea that I'm actually charging the enemy, like with swords, which is funny. So yeah, and each faction has their unique variety of units also, which is very interesting. So the battles are of course going to be longer, which means that the units have put up a specific, they made a special thing of having the fatigue be much slower. The morale, like entire game works differently in that case. So here come the thundering armies of the enemy. Actually, as you can see, my allies in the back are doing nothing. So the game is now. They said now the thing is, one of the things they're also saying is that the AI puts up much more of a fight, and because this thingy of the battles will take us forever to end, which is totally historical. I'm not saying that it wasn't so, but it sometimes disturbs me, and I think they just went a bit too far with that, giving it much more strategical depth, which increased slightly. It's increased more than in a normal game. You get more strategic depth out of a slower game, slower paced battle game, like Empire Total War. There, the first volley counted always, because every volley needed to count as devastating. You need to time the cavalry charges right. Here you can see the beautiful Armenian horse cataphracts. And my allies pretty much doing nothing. They're just watching the battle. They're just hill camping. Yeah, it's pretty funny because the AI is set to defend and they won't do anything. So yeah, it gives you much more strategical depth by flanking, skirmishing. That's what the mod gave it. And also that they remove those so-called special magical abilities, which are pretty much like the trample ability, they use the whip, stuff like that. That much people see as totally worthless piece of garbage. I don't see that as piece of garbage. I see that as a pretty nice content. But I can totally agree that many of them were totally piece of garbage. Yeah. And yeah, the thing is that even the cavalry fights are going to take forever. So although you're going to be flanking with the cavalry is just not going to be such a shock impact, which they really should be want to like to have if you have been fighting like for 10 minutes, a very exhausting cavalry battle, and you're like, yeah, well, this was pretty much for nothing, because cavalry charges are pretty much useless against enemies. The cavalry needs to be pinned in against their opponents, which is not the best. So yeah, the AI is not using their cavalry well, they're just outflanking. So their cavalry is pretty much acting like infantry, almost. So I think cavalry charges are being less devastating now in this mod. Like they were in Romus Rectum 2, on Europa Barbarum, cavalry charges are less devastating. Most of it in Romus Rectum 2, well, battles just took forever, like in this mod. Which, I want the battles to like take like, I don't know, like 80% more time. And yes, it was historical, recorded in some Roman battles that they just fought from morning, from dawn to dusk. And then they withdrew, pulled back, and then fought next morning. That's what they did in like huge battles. But the most famous battles, like Cannae or Gaugamela, that's pretty much what a general's genius by surrounding an enemy and massacring them is. But then you straight up battles like this, it will take a days to finish. Like a battle like this, it will take a days. So yeah, it's a pretty mixed opponents I'm facing. I'm facing Greeks, I'm facing Dacians, I'm facing Spanish barbarians. So I have some, the Pontics have cavalry behind, but shock cavalry and elephants are less effective now because of the thing that units hold out much longer. That means that cavalry isn't like the knight you saw before, which I think cavalry may just be sometimes a little bit overpowered and sometimes a bit nerfed. Because like in the historical battles you see that cavalry is totally useless, like in Cannae or Sama. Your heavy shock cavalry is nothing. They won't do so much, but I really like the new units and the new way the units work, as you feel like you're actually fighting. Because now, as I say, I think the creators mistook those things that they call magical abilities of the mod as they were game changing. I don't think these abilities were game changing. They just support your units. They just make them fight better. Of course they can change the course of a battle, but not that much. So yeah, they do not change the course of a battle that much, but they help out. Some of the abilities are just a waste of time to have there, and some of them are totally like unhistorical and worthless. So yeah, so they really instead wanted to have you that the formations you have, and you should use and if you use formations based on history, that they didn't use, and the AI, I don't know, like I don't think the AI has been optimized to do 4 army battles, because here they just charge straight in, and they're just blobbing up. This is the same as in Rome 2 AI, but they say that the AI is going to use formations, preset formations more, and use the formations well, and that they have more preset formations, and if you use some of the historical formations, it will grant you the boost that these gave their armies in the time, which I'm pretty sure that helped. That's much more like that here than in the vanilla game, but I don't know, it feels like the same grinding matchup. But yeah, I think, and I'm pretty sure that the formation plays a bigger role, but I think in the battle of Impera, right now the bigger role plays up on how the battle starts. Because maneuvering is much weaker right now, because the battles just take forever. So like, if you get your cavalry pinned down on spearmen, they can stay there in like 1.5 minutes. Instead of the cavalry just steamrolling the spearmen, or the spearmen steamrolling the cavalry. So yeah, this mod, well, Rome 2 wasn't really the same about Shogun 2, what's it called? Rock, paper, scissors game. But it was a bit like rock, paper, scissors. Not that much rock, paper, scissors, but it was some of the, it began improvising as time went. So it became much more a rock, paper, scissors game. More like Shogun 2, which I'm pretty fine Total War games being like that way. Empire wasn't really that way. So I'm going to concede defeat now, because yeah. As you can see, the battle has dragged on for 6 minutes. Now, what would have been a normal battle right now, which would have been most of the battle would have been over by now, or half the battle, and a victor would have been decided by now. No. Not really. Of course we know that I would have won. So yeah, it was total like 1,000 kills total. Now to the unit rosters. So let's just check the unit rosters. Look at all of those units. All those general units as Lucas has. That's freaking crazy. So you got a much new unit. So let's check the Romans, who I think have become so overpowered, because they say the game was going to be historical. So now they're very overpowered. So yeah. So I think, first of all, I'm very happy that the Praetorian Guards have been capped. Now there's a cap system here for the Romans. So now they're being capped for a few units per army. Because the thing is, because this game is so historical now, the mod made them more realistic and historical, then the Romans will steamroll everything. Because the Romans did so in history, in real life. They did so. They steamroll everything. Their system, their brutality, their ruthlessness, their discipline, their training was just superior to anything their foes had at the time. Yes, those legionaries will beast everything in this period, or in the Roman times. So yeah, I think it was a mistake of the mod making the Romans so powerful, because Europa Barbarorum knew that the Romans would be very powerful, so they made them very weak. And now I'm very happy that yes, the Praetorian Guard got a 1 unit nerf, and they're a general, so you can't go for a Praetorian Guard and a Praetorians now. Because you only have a general now for them. And because they were generals. Like, what other occasion was the Praetorian Guard that was not protecting a general? So yeah, it's finally over. The Praetorian Guard menace is over. I'm so happy. So finally you get a better Praetorian Guard, both in campaign and in single player. Now the generals are pretty much mounted Praetorian Guards, some of them. Not as good as Praetorian Cav, they're pretty much like Praetorian Cav, the mounted generals. Some of them. So I'm very happy the Praetorians have finally been eradicated, as we can say, eradicated. So the generals are pretty much Praetorians. These are pretty much the legionary Praetorians. These are standard generals. Yeah. And so these are pretty much the legion generals, and these are the Primarian kind of generals, the consul. And here we have, so now of course the bad thing is all the units, all the post-Marian units, the reformed Romans, have been, you can't pick more than 3 armored legionnaires, you can't pick more than 6 legionnaires, which makes it totally boring because the Romans can totally it makes it less historical because the Romans did actually spam Roman units. Now I'm happy that Eagle cohorts or first cohorts are capped to 1, but not the Evocati cohorts, like maybe capped to like 4 or 5, but the other units I don't see why it's logical to cap that much. Even the Pedites Extraordinary? And the Triarii I'm fine, I don't think the Triarii are that powerful, I've tested them against Carthage. It wasn't that special, they were pretty much weak. Like a hoplite. Useless. They got some new skirmishers. Yeah, like 1 skirmisher down to Signani. Yeah, like 1. No new change to the shock cavalry, although their stats are much lower than normal, I think. I don't know why. Now, fine, now we have Equites Extraordinary, we have auxiliary cavalry. So now finally we have no more Praetorian Guard. Thank God we have not. Here are the Praetorian, these goods are the Praetorian Cav. No more annoying Praetorian Cav nonsense. Finally, that's over. We have normal Cav, we have Numidian boring cavalry. Because they're boring in Rome too. The Seleucids have their roster, they have elephants, cataphracts, Ajima Cav. New units, and Macedon was the big change. You have the late companion cavalry, the late Hetaeroi, as they were called, and the normal Hetaeroi from Alexander the Great's time. You have the normal Thessalians, and then you have the Prodromoi of Thrace. Haha. You have the normal Aspis. And all the Hellenic factions have the Locaspidae, which are the white shield pikes. They're pretty much like a bronze shield, kinda. They're a pretty powerful pike. Or they're more like an elite pike, but they're not a thorax pike. They have a bunch more like native units for the area around, like Egypt has their like the Egyptian and Thracian unit, and even Athens has a change. Because before Syracuse, I can't find Syracuse, I couldn't find it, but I know it's in the game here somewhere hidden because it's Y. But they have their unique units in divided Impera, and so does Athens. Athens has their unique units. Yeah, exactly. Athens has their unique units. So let's just check out Athens then, or whatever I'm doing over there. So Athens then. Drum roll. Yeah, but Athens instead. So they have their own unique units. Like Athenian elite hoplites, Athenian marines, legates swordsmen, more Thoreros swords, Athenian pikes, their own pikemen, look at that. Their own hippies, awesome. Athens has their own unique units now. Instead of just boring Greek units. Now let's just check some of the, now abilities then. The Romans have an ability called Use the Whip, which gives them more melee attack and more weapon damage for a short while, and then that makes the unit dead tired. All the Mediterranean civilized factions have that, but they made themselves very exhausted. That was a pretty useless ability that your swords could use, that the swordsman could use. So yeah, I'm glad they removed that ability. Very happy. Moving on. Now an ability that they very was displeased that they removed, actually, was the shield wall from the weaker barbarians, like the middle tier barbarian units. Now it's only the higher tier barbarian spearmen and swordsmen the much higher tier of them that can make a shield wall, no longer the middle tier ones. So it means now that they just can't make a shield wall, shield screen, and brace against that cavalry that will normally totally butcher them. Yeah. Now the shock cavalry, the higher level one, had also a trample ability, which made them improve their charge from like 60 to 80 something, which will make it very strategic when you needed to have the most charge out of your cavalry to do the most impact, and you knew this was the most important charge of the battle for this unit. You used it. It was devastating. Now sometimes it was kind of weird and overpowered, not overpowered, but kind of not in the place for this game, and so I'm both fine and not fine with that they removed that. So yeah. Now let's just go on. So pikemen had also an ability called Steady, which means that the pikemen will get. The ability called Steady was actually the thing that made it that actually the pikemen gained a bonus defense skill and stuff. So it's pretty awesome name when your pikemen held your ground, but it was kind of useless in effect. It just made them tired. Sometimes it was useful in campaign, but not so much in normal games. Because in the multiplayer, I don't think you're going to see a bunch of barbarians or Romans charging headlong into your pikemen. Nope. So I'm kind of fine that they removed that ability. I didn't like it. It wasn't really that well used. Now, back to the shield wall thingy. So now it's only the lower tiered barbarian units, or the middle tiered, that have been removed all their shield stuff, which I'm not happy with. Because it gave them the bracing bonus they required, and also all of the barbarian spearmen, all those barbarian spearmen lost the bonus or the cavalry counter tactics. Look at the cavalry counter tactics is a very important thingy, because all that gave them a bonus versus cavalry. It was an ability. It's a thing that units have, bonus versus cavalry, which makes them stronger versus cavalry. Like improves the percentage to fight larger units, mounted units. And I think that was a very important thing they had. Although you couldn't take a spear unit with that and just stand your ground against like a cataphract or a strong melee cav, then you could still use that unit to actually mix in a cavalry fight or support a fight against support a started fight against a cavalry unit. You could use like a lower tier barbarian spearman to support the fight with cavalry counter tactics. They wouldn't do much, but they would put in numbers and the bonus versus cavalry to use their spears to a good use. Yeah, that would have been a devastatingly good thingy to use that. I like that ability. And now, a thing that they also removed was Headhunt. A thing that the higher tier barbarian swords had, which made them easily able to cut down enemies fast. That was I didn't like that ability. That they removed it. I didn't like it. There was an ability called Frenzied Charge, which I didn't like. It was kind of useless. It was like a bit more charge with a bunch more fatigue. But Headhunt was really helpful. It gave a pretty long time boost to your melee stats, to your attacking stats, and it didn't give that much fatigue. Now, about that, there's a system, there's a thingy that the units have, which is, I don't know what it is actually. I'm just going to search through the video. Yeah, here we go. So, now I don't know why they removed this, but there's a thing that the bonus versus infantry and bonus versus mounted, that stat is gone! Gone! I don't know why they removed it. So now you can't know when your sacred band how good they are against cav. Now they only have weapon initiative, which is pretty much how the chance that the weapon can strike first, the range of the weapon in melee. Because and of course the pikes have the highest because they're pikes, and the swordsmen have 0 because the swordsmen are very short. The swords are short.
spears are longer, pikes are longest. But I don't think we need to know that a spearman can easily strike before a swordsman and a pikeman can easily strike before anything. The weapon deadliness is how deadly it is on our close quarter fights. And we don't even understand how that's gonna work out. We don't understand the mechanic, but we know that swords is best because it's short. So it's pretty much the opposite of the pike. Yeah. So now they remove the bonus thingy, which I'm pretty pissed about. The bonus versus cavalry. Yeah. It's gone. But yeah. So yeah. And also the worst thing is now they have so many units. You can't even know, because adapting to Rome 2 was pretty harsh. All of those new units, how they worked, and now you get an entirely new game. With not only a different mechanic of the game, how the units work, but like hundreds of thousands of new units. How do you suppose to think that like 10% of the total community has ever played this mod? Like 10% is a lot of the players that I've actually touched the fingers in Rome. Just like 5% of the players who have Rome 2 have played this mod. And how are you supposed to think that they are going to? How you're supposed to think that low people after half a year? Now we know how the units work and how the mechanics of Rome 2 work exactly. Is it going to take 2 years to get adapted to a divided Impera, whilst the divided Impera is getting bigger and bigger? No. So it's going to be overwhelming. We will never know how to best use divided Impera and all of those features. As I say, it has a bunch of campaign features. Actually, let's poof through campaign here. Let's put the campaign on here. So they have the standard factors: Rome and Carthage. Yeah, they have the Polis Hellenikoi, the Greek states. We have the Ardeaei, Massalia. Yes, Massalia. Epirus, standard Epirotes. Sparta, Syracuse, Pergamon, Athens, and Chimeria, Bosporus. These are the Greek states. They are not all the Greek states, but these are the Greek states you really want to play. Maybe not all the AI. Probably not. But yeah. So these are very much the Greek states they know you're going to be interested in playing. And they might just add. Eastern Empire added Hayasadan, which is pretty much Armenia, which is another power that you feel like playing because they're awesome. The Gallic haven't added anything. No, nothing. Iberians have added the Lusitani. Or the Cantabria, I meant. The Lusitani, goddammit. The Diadokoi, the Successors, nothing. The new place, Dacia et Thraciae. It's pretty much the Dacians, the Getae, and Thraciae, the Odrysian kingdom. And by the way, these are not all of the Dacians or the Thracians, but these are the ones you really mostly want to play as. Yeah. So, yeah. Nothing new for the Hordes, nothing new for Icenia, a new 3 the African kingdoms that are pretty much Massaicely in Numidia, a new UI thingy. So I'm going to say the details. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to pull this up. So the details are pretty much new strategic campaign. So the game has added a bunch of new stuff. It's an awesome mod. It's always saying good arguments about better AI, better resource system, more units. The battles are going to reflect history more. So yeah, so the mod is pretty much like that way. If you really want to know more, you can go to the Total War thread. And yeah, Egypt has gotten the entirely area of Cyrene for themselves now, yeah. And the Seleucids, as you will see, have pretty much everything here. So they ate Media. So yeah, that's pretty much the Divided Impera. A very strong and good mod, actually. I'm not recommending this mod to play always. Although if this video gets over 30 likes, I will actually do an LP of this mod. No, maybe not a finishing LP, but decent LP of a faction in this mod. So I will do that if I get over 30 views or over 30 likes. So over 30. So if you help me get 30 likes on this video, I will totally do some kind of campaign on the Battle Impera. The Battle Impera is huge. It's awesome. I love this mod. Has a bunch of new units. Very historical mod. Has put a lot of work into all the name. Maybe not actually. And this mod is put up by many other mods and many modders. So thank you all to them. I'm maybe not a person who really like this mod a lot, but I'm so inspired by how much work you put into this mod to make it an equal of Europa Barbarorum and Roma's Rectum 2, and maybe even getting to be an equal of the Third Age Total War of Medieval 2. Man, that was the best mod ever. Best mod of the world. So yeah, that's pretty much about the Impera. A very complex mod though, that's the pretty biggest backside. And a bit big removal. So I think the Battle Impera has maybe gone too far without help from their users. But still, man, this mod is awesome. New campaign, very historical, very challenging AI that actually puts up a fight. So actually, I give this mod a 7 out of 10. Yeah, man, I'm 7 out of 10. I'm saying it's awesome. So I hope you have enjoyed this mod review. I hope you will enjoy the mod if you tried it out. See you next time. Get Pack 5 signing out.